Well, today I'm in the midst of a group of amalgamation of Northern Consensus Forum. Today they are about to give recommendation of the committee that just worked on compensation that should be given to those people that suffer losses at the NSAS protest in Shasa and in Ibadan and other parts of the environment. Let's just listen to them and hear from them what the report looks like.
We are here to receive from the compensation subcommittee of Northern Consensus Movement to receive the report of the losses from #NSAS to Akinyele Shasa market killings in Oyo, and then the various killings that have taken place in the south, southwest, and southeastern part of Nigeria of northerners and the losses of their property. This is the reason why we are here. Like you all know, during the #NSAS protests, northerners lost lives and properties. As at that time, before the submission of this report, our estimated loss of lives were 150 during the #NSAS and about 196 during the Shasa Akinyele market killings. And then we also approximated the losses during the #NSAS and then the Akinyele market killings. You are aware that at the beginning, before we went on protest of no food supply protest to the south, southwest, and southeast, we approximated that over 100 open body trucks, 100 buses, when I say buses, 18-seater buses, with another about 300 saloon cars. We approximated that were lost. And then also during the Akinyele market killings, the number of people that died, property destroyed, and then those injured, we approximated. But having done the necessary thing, we now come up with a committee that will comprehensively get the losses of lives and property of those killings of northerners and then report back to the House. We set up that committee, inaugurated the committee, and today the committee is submitting a comprehensive report of losses so far. Ladies and gentlemen, you recall that we demanded for 47.5 billion naira for the losses incurred. And then the federal government, during the protests, directed Governor of Kogi State, Yahaya Bello, to mediate. And he mediated. We went to the presidency, had meetings in the villa, and then a certain consensus and agreement was reached. And then we called off the strike. And then we went to the computation of the losses. And today, after that, several other meetings were held. Like I said, a consensus was reached. And hence the reason why this committee is set up. And the report today is ready. And this report will be forwarded to the appropriate authorities for their necessary action. This is the reason for this meeting today. The Northern Consensus Movement, like you know, is an amalgamation of over 115 registered and certificated northern organizations. These organizations cut across community-based, socio-cultural, and economically inclined northern associations. This body come together and protected, or rather, stop what would have been a carnage. Carnage in the sense that you are aware how nerves were high during the NSAS protest, Akinyele market killings, the IPOB killing of northerners. Nerves were high. Northerners were about taking law into their hands. Northerners were about to start retaliating on the killings and destructions of lives of other Nigerians that are resident in northern part of Nigeria. The Northern Consensus Movement, like I said, which is an amalgamation of this over 115 organizations, come together and thought it wise, how can we stop carnage? How can we stop the killings and destructions of properties and lives of other innocent Nigerians that are resident in the north, just because some non-patriotic southerners and easterners decided to destroy the property and also kill our people? We shouldn't let that happen. So what do we do not to allow that to happen? That is when these organizations, the NCM, in collaboration with these various bodies, come and took the decision of no food supply. And by the special grace of God, we were able to stop that carnage that was just about to commence. This body stopped it, and we continue to talk to our youths. And as you can see, with all the previous killings and destructions of lives and properties of northerners resident in other parts of the country, there was no single action taken by any northerner in terms of trying to fight back, in terms of trying to destroy anybody's property, in terms of trying to kill anybody. Nothing like that happened. This is courtesy. This is courtesy of the actions of Northern Consensus Movement. We were able, by the special grace of God, to stop any reprisal attack against any Nigerian resident in the northern part of Nigeria. So, and these things, you recall, even after that, Shasa, Akinyele, the IPOB, the Odua Republic Declaration and what have you, the killings, but yet, the North was and is still a bloc. We were able, by the special grace of God, with the advice of our elders and their guidance, we were able to hold the ground strong and not to allow anything bad to happen in the north against anybody. But that is not to say that we are not aggrieved or we are not angered. We are aggrieved, we are angered, but we were able to control our emotions. And by the special grace of God, we were able to control our youths from taking any unnecessary action. But then we have cried to the federal government and to the international community of the happenings. And the federal government listened to us, and that was why we went for that meeting. And then that meeting resulted to what we are doing today. So we are getting a comprehensive report of the losses so far incurred. And we are going to be making a presentation to the government for their necessary action. And as northerners, we believe in Nigeria. We believe in the peaceful Nigeria and peaceful coexistence of Nigerians. And we will continue to do everything humanly possible within our means as an association to make sure that nothing happen as far as appraisal of any kind happen in the north, with the guidance of our elders and leaders. That is on one part. On the other part, we are also organizing a more, in terms of security. The Northern Consensus Movement we are already reaching out to various tribes and religious groups on trying to see how we can harmoniously continue to coexist peacefully with our brothers and sisters, and then to also see how we can avert any security breach, as well as coordinate and cooperate among ourselves towards bringing back that unity, love in the north, as well as security. In that direction, we have already started talking to the Fulani leaders, the Ardos, various leadership of Fulani organizations. We will be talking to all tribes and across the 19 northern states, and then we will be culminating that with a 3 days summit where we will be assembling representatives of all tribes, all religions, all communities of northern Nigeria, where we will be discussing thoroughly, face to face and eye to eye, what are our challenges, where is our problem coming from, what are the causes of these problems, and how do we work towards solving these problems so that North will continue to live in peace. Every Nigerian is aware of the challenges North and Northern Nigeria is facing. We intend by that meeting bring to an end, by the special grace of God, as our own contribution to national peace, peaceful coexistence, unity and development, coordinate all various groups, including we will go to whatever level to get to the nitty-gritty of people that are involved in crime and criminality, get to know who they are, get to bring them to book, so that the Northern Nigeria will continue to live peacefully. Here, I will want to call the attention of the security agencies and even the government. Recently, the National Assembly, or some members of National Assembly and some organizations have been sending out calls that the banditry taking place in Northern Nigeria, that there should be a declaration by the President for those bandits to be declared or recognized as terrorists. We in the Northern Consensus Movement are of the opinion that if you will kill, you will destroy property, you will maim, you will rape for no cause, for no just cause, then there's nothing wrong if you are being addressed as a terrorist. What is terrorism? Terrorism is the act of killing, destruction, arson for no reason. Someone didn't do anything to you, you kill and then took away his property. You refuse to allow him to sleep in his home with his two eyes closed. That is terrorism. So we are by this also calling on the federal government to accept the call by the National Assembly in declaring these bandits as terrorists. So doing will give the Nigerian Armed Forces the opportunity to really make use of the super Tucanos that have just been purchased by the federal government. We are aware that there are insiders within Nigeria that are waiting for the armed forces to make use of those super Tucanos, and after making use of it, since the charter or the agreement, the buy and sell agreement, part of it says that those super Tucanos can only be used on terrorist and terrorist activities. And if you say bandits are not terrorists, automatically the super Tucanos might not be used on bandit. And the only way to curb banditry in Nigeria is by making use of the super Tucanos. Now, there are some Nigerians that are there waiting for the super Tucanos to be used, and once they are used, they will now tag the armed forces for manslaughter. And once there's a case of manslaughter, the foreign powers will certainly take an action and possibly refuse to even continue to sell arms and ammunition for Nigerians to fight banditry. And there are those Nigerians that are waiting for that action to be taken so that they can make use of that opportunity to create real disunity, discomfort, and then begin to fight even the federal government. Because the federal government is only powerful when its armed forces is powerful, when the armed forces have the necessary equipment. Where the armed forces don't have the necessary equipment, they are no longer powerful. Then you can fight them. And the Super Tucano is a powerful machine that can bring down anything that needed to be brought down for as long as it is destroying lives and property. So we will not give those unpatriotic Nigerians the opportunity to infiltrate or to tag our armed forces on manslaughter. So we are using this medium to call on the federal government to seriously consider declaring this banditry activity as an act of terrorism, so that the armed forces will make the best use of the Super Tucano and bring to bear and also bring to an end this issue of banditry. We are aware that most of these bandits are not Nigerians. They are foreigners coming into Nigeria to perpetrate this act because it is already a money-making venture. And then those other those that are agent of doom, that are waiting for the armed forces to make use of it so that they can make a declaration and they will have their own opportunity to begin to do whatever they want to do, and God will not give them that opportunity. So the Northern Consensus Movement is by this also requesting, like I said, the federal government to do the needful in terms of that banditry activities, so that the armed forces will be able to do what they are best known for. Don't forget, the only thing binding and keeping and also making Nigeria unbreakable today is the armed forces. So we need to support them, we need to encourage them by allowing them to do their job, and the only way to do for their job and succeed is for the federal government to do the needful, just like the National Assembly is calling. And we will also be writing formally to the National Assembly and the presidency requesting for this very action to be taken. On the train of yesterday that is making us to tag bandit as terrorists. You are aware the northern Nigeria, starting from the issue of the Boko Haram, the banditry taking place in the northwest and north central, to part of north central today, the bandits are remnants of Boko Haram. The actual, yes, we know we have some security challenges here and there before now, but it is not as bad as this. So it is the remnants of the Boko Haram that infiltrate this other part of northern Nigeria with the support of their foreign sponsors, as well as foreign collaborators, that are really doing what they are doing, and some particular tribe is being tagged with banditry. But in real sense, they are foreigners and they are remnants of Boko Haram. So if Boko Haram have been declared as terrorists, and the remnant, some members of Boko Haram have migrated from the northeast to northwest and part of north central, and are recruiting and also bringing in their foreign collaborators to do what they are doing, then the best way to tackle and deal with this situation is by declaring them as terrorists. So that is the reason why we are saying what we are saying, not because of the train. The train is another challenge, and I'm sure the government is going to do the needful on that one. One of the reasons why we are saying that they should be declared as terrorists, because if you have a mortar, it is used to bring down aircraft. If you can have the opportunity to hold such weapons, and you don't forget, in the past, one or two of our aircrafts, or the armed forces aircraft, were shot down by this bandit activity. So if they can shut down aircraft, then there's no reason why they cannot be declared as terrorists.